Everyone thought Miss Hannah was too soft for this school. It was her first week teaching at Jefferson High, a place known more for chaos than learning. Her calm voice and kind manner didn't fit in the noisy hallways where students laughed at authority, not with it. Some students whispered she'd quit before the month ended. Others didn't bother hiding their bets. In Class 9C, the worst of them all, she was met with rolled eyes, gum-popping, and muttered insults. Among them were 3 notorious seniors, Blake, Darnell, and Tanya, who took pride in breaking new teachers. They'd driven the last one out in less than 2 weeks. They laughed when they saw Miss Hannah's small frame and gentle expression. "She won't last a day," Blake snorted as they watched her arrange her books. What none of them knew was that Miss Hannah had already survived far worse than high school bullying. By day 3, the disrespect turned into full-blown hostility. They mocked her accent, interrupted every lesson, and once even threw a chalkboard eraser at her back. But Miss Hannah never raised her voice. She corrected them firmly, treated them with patience, and kept teaching. Her calm made them angrier. They wanted her to snap, to cry, to quit. On Friday afternoon, as most students were leaving, the trio cornered her in the hallway. Tanya live-streamed while the boys taunted her. "If you want to teach dogs like us," Blake laughed, "you better act like one." With the camera rolling, they forced her to crawl on her hands and knees, barking for their amusement. Students gathered, some laughing, some frozen in shock. The clip spread like wildfire. But just as Tanya zoomed in for a humiliating close-up, something in Miss Hannah's eyes changed. She rose slowly to her feet, not shaking, not crying, but completely still. "Is this what makes you feel powerful?" she asked, her voice low but firm. The hallway fell silent. Blake stepped forward to laugh again, but in one swift, flawless movement, Miss Hannah's fist shot upward in a perfectly timed uppercut. His feet left the ground, phone flying from his hand as he collapsed backward, stunned. Darnell charged toward her, only to receive a side elbow that dropped him to the floor. Tanya backed into a locker, shaking, dropping her phone as the live stream ended abruptly. The stunned crowd gasped. No one had expected that. Not from the soft-spoken new teacher. Security rushed in. The fight was over in seconds. The footage spread even faster than the bullying clip. But this time, the internet had a different reaction. Comments poured in. "She's a hero." Finally someone stood up. "That teacher has more backbone than the whole school board." Some criticized her for the violence, but many more applauded her for standing up after being dehumanized on camera. In the days that followed, Miss Hannah was suspended pending investigation. Reporters camped outside the school. But students, even ones she had never taught, signed petitions in her support. Parents wrote emails. Survivors of bullying and abuse shared their stories online, inspired by her courage. Blake and Darnell were expelled. Tanya's scholarship was revoked. The school board quietly changed its stance when the district received overwhelming support for Miss Hannah. A week later, she was reinstated. But she returned not just as a teacher, she returned as a symbol. Her first day back, the same hall that once watched her crawl now stood in silent respect. No more gum chewing. No more mockery. Miss Hannah didn't need to threaten anyone. Her story had done it for her. In an assembly organized by the students themselves, Miss Hannah spoke quietly into the mic, "I did not come here to fight. But I will never let anyone make me less than human again. And neither should you." The room erupted in applause. Months later, Miss Hannah started an anti-bullying program in the school called Stand Straight. It became the model for other schools in the district. She mentored students who had been too afraid to speak, helped teachers who had once thought quitting was the only way, and reminded everyone that strength doesn't always wear a uniform or raise its voice. Her story remains on thousands of phones, not as a memory of shame, but as a turning point. A quiet warrior. A broken system. And a punch that rewrote everything.